Hi and welcome to Vindicast number 8. I have a game that was submitted to me on my YouTube channel. So this is the first of these submissions I've gotten from my YouTube channel so far of a Platinum Terran versus Zerg on Tal'Darim Altar. And Tal'Darim Altar is one of those maps that usually gives some pretty entertaining Terran versus Zerg, so I'm looking forward to this one. Alright, so spawning in the bottom left of Tal'Darim Altar, we have the Red Terran, and I don't even want to try and pronounce this name because I will get it wrong. And in the top left, we have the Blue Zerg, Beans and Rice. Alright, so this is Tal'Darim Altar. Tal'Darim Altar almost always, usually opens with a 15 hatch from the Zerg and a Reactor Hellion from the Terran. But this is Platinum League, so the one nice thing about Platinum League is that literally anything can happen. You have such a wide variety of creative builds that will work in this league that don't necessarily work in other leagues that you could definitely see here. So that's one of the reasons why I enjoy watching and actually playing against Platinum players, is because you never really know what you're going to get. So we have a supply depot going down for the Terran right now. He's probably going to be putting up his barracks right after that. The real determining factor right now for what his build is going to be determined by when he puts down his first gas, or if he puts down a first gas at all. The barracks timing is going to be, standard because he wants to block off this wall. Although I'm not sure if this Terran knows this, but you can actually block this particular entrance with a supply depot and a barracks if you build them directly one on top of each other. That would have denied this drone scout from getting into his base. But the drone is going to get in. He's going to see the barracks timing, probably going to harass that SCV because that's pretty standard. And we have the gas going down at 14. Yeah, that's a 14 gas. So it's not a 13 gas, which is what is typical of Terrans in this matchup. But we do have the SCV blocking the drone, and the drone is not quite ready, is not quite being controlled well enough just yet, and the SCV continues to block the hatchery. So this is really annoying for the Zerg player. He wants to get down that hatchery, but this SCV is just not letting him do it, and he's just stockpiling resources, and now he finally gets down that hatchery. So he was able to delay it a little bit, but now he doesn't have his spawning pool down yet either. So he really needs to get that spawning pool going as quickly as he can, especially since the Terran scouted what position he was in and when that hatchery was being built. But we don't have any 2x pressure coming up from the Terran. He is going for what is probably going to be a Reactor Hellion or some kind of fast factory opening. Could be Siege Mode or Banshees or any sort of other things. Actually, scratch that. It's not going to be Banshees because he doesn't have that second gas. This is almost certainly going to be a Reactor Hellion opening. And this is so standard on this map. This is about as standard as you can get for any matchup in StarCraft 2. The Hellions are so good at actually utilizing the wide open terrain of Tal'Darim Altar to get behind mineral lines, dodge Zerglings, all sorts of nice things. But in a tournament that I actually casted not so long ago, I actually made the point that said that Reactor Hellions are so standard on this map that some Zergs are just metagaming Terrans and just utilizing builds that would be vulnerable to things like 2-racks or fast Banshee play, specifically that targets against Hellions, things like roach rushing and that sort of thing. But we're not seeing anything like that out of the Zerg so far. He is just getting his macro up. He has got down his first gas. He is making additional drones. He is ahead of the Terran in that regard, and the Terran is just starting his second command center right now. So this is going to be a Reactor Hellion expand. We have that second gas down for the Terran, but he isn't harvesting from it yet. Not yet. Any moment now. Maybe not. The Hellions are going to be coming out. The Terran is going to get supply blocked in the second round of Hellions if he doesn't make a supply depot pretty quick. There it goes. And we have a hidden expansion going down in the top right for the Zerg player. This is a really risky move, but again, this goes back to what I said about Platinum League. You could totally get away with this in Platinum League because you don't necessarily know that your opponent is going to be the kind that's going to be scouting the top right, just to be careful. So this is definitely something the Zerg can get away with. But on the other hand, the Zerg isn't actually taking very much time to scout the Terran to see what he's doing. This third hatchery would be a really bad idea if the Terran was going for some kind of one-base play, and the Zerg doesn't really know that. All he's seen are those Hellions. And I don't actually know if he's even seen those Hellions, but Has he seen the He hasn't seen the Hellions. The Hellions are kind of like parked like right in that middle. He probably knows they're there just because they would have had to gone through the vision of the watchtowers to get there. But that's the thing right now, though, is that this Terran doesn't know that this expansion is here. So if he thinks that he's just playing a straight-up macro game with a Zerg that hasn't taken a third base yet, he's wrong. And that could come back to bite him, but how is the Zerg droning up behind this? He isn't droning up as well as he could. He is putting down those two spine crawlers to protect against Hellion play, but his drone count isn't as high as it could be right now. And he isn't even making any more drones right now. He's dropping a Baneling Nest and an Evolution Chamber, and just now is he starting up 2 additional drones. And this whole time that the Terran has been making SCVs, he hasn't stopped making SCVs at all. He hasn't put down another supply depot just yet. Okay, there it goes. See, I'm very concerned at this point that this Terran is just going to keep getting himself supply blocked, but he's handling himself pretty well in that regard. We have 1-1 going down for the Terran. This is usually indicative of a later game type play, because we have no upgrades. We have none of the more important upgrades in either stim or combat shields coming out from the Terran yet. We don't have any medevacs out on the field just yet either. We have an armory going down, but we don't have a tech lab or a starport, so that's probably indicative of fast 2-2 play coming from the Terran. But he doesn't even have the production to support that. I don't know why he would be going for that so quickly. That is a lot of defenses down. The Zerg is really overreacting to this, and he's actually completely walled himself off, too. That's going to be a tell. That's going to be a tell that he's going for some sort of tech behind this, but he isn't really. He is getting down 1-1 upgrades for roaches, and he has a roach horn down, but he hasn't even started his lair yet. So these two players have both lost me. We have a huge wall coming from the Zerg, but we have roaches coming in behind this and no lair tech. I would think that this wall would be more appropriate if he was going for like Mutalisks or something, but he isn't. He's just going for a roach play. And on the Terran side of things, he is now just dropping additional barracks, but he still doesn't have a starport for medevacs yet. So I'm not quite sure what he plans to do with this fast 2-2 upgrade. And he isn't even spending half the money that he has. Oh, this is a big deal. The Terran is now scouting. See what I mean about that wall? The Terran can't get in past that wall, so he has nothing else to do with those Hellions except to just go and to scout. So he is going to find this this third base, and the Zerg doesn't have enough larvae to start making enough roaches to hold off these Hellions. So he's probably going to lose all these drones over here. The fortunate thing for the Zerg, though, is that Hellions are very bad at killing buildings, so he will be able to at least keep this expansion for a little while. He really should be making roaches out of those larvae rather than these spine crawlers. Well, the Zerg is losing more here than he really needed to. A couple roaches here would fend off all of those Hellions, but the Hellions are just going to sit here, burning down slowly that little hatchery, and we have a lot of roaches in production for the Zerg player, and he is taking down that wall. It looks like he might want to counterattack after this. The Terran is just getting up his bio production. He has gotten out that starport, so he will be able to transfer over and go for medevacs, and it looks like he is really just interested in Marine Marauder play. He doesn't have any siege. He doesn't have any capacity to build siege tanks right now. He does have tech labs, so he is making marauders, and he is going to get those 2-2 out way sooner than the Zerg is going to have the upgrades to compete with that. And he just got his lair up right now, and roach speed still isn't done yet. So the Zerg actually isn't going to be able to do very much with these roaches at this timing. All right, so we finally have these roaches over here cleaning up these Hellions. Still manages to get 4 of them away. Those Hellions were more than did their job. So Zerg is now stuck on 2 base. He only has 40 drones to the Terran's 48, and he hasn't even decided that he wants to take down these destructible rocks. I'm not sure what he has planned right now. I don't really think he believes that this roach counterattack is going to be doing very much damage. But that's all going to depend on what he actually sees from the Terran. He really doesn't see anything. He doesn't know if siege tanks are up that ramp, or if he's got a ton of Marines up that ramp, or if he's going for battle cruisers. He has no idea what he's doing at this point. He really should move this Overlord over here just to scout, just to see what's awaiting him at the top of that ramp. I really hope he just doesn't throw those roaches away. Okay, we have 3-3 going down at 13 minutes. Alright, even for Masters League, that is a fast 3-3. You can't really get 3-3 much faster than that. I mean, again, he's doing these upgrades, neglecting a lot of other things that he could be doing, and he's really only managing to get away with that because the Zerg isn't really macroing to the level that a higher league Zerg player would. Oh, don't throw away those roaches, man. What did I just say? Yeah, those roaches are not long for this world. Luckily for the Zerg, the Terran doesn't have stim yet, so he wasn't able to chase down those roaches. But why would you send roaches up a ramp? If you have no idea what's waiting for you up there, why would you send, like, all your roaches at once? If anything, just send one, just to see what's up there. But now he does finally know that the Terran is going for heavy bio play. He already does have a Baneling nest down, and he is making Zerglings right now, which I can only assume is going to be reserved for making Banelings in a little while. We don't have Baneling speed down, though, do we? And actually, where is that Baneling nest? I thought for sure I saw a Baneling nest earlier. Did the Terran kill it? What would he have killed it with? Okay, so I'm wrong. There are no Banelings down on the field. The Zerg really only has Zerglings and Roaches to deal with this, and the Roaches are at 1-1 with the Zerglings, and the Terran is already getting up a pretty good-sized force of Marines and Marauders. Only 2 medevacs, though, but there's 2 more on the way. If he wants to attack with this army right now, he could do a lot of damage. But I think just because this looks like it's going to be his game plan, he's probably just going to wait for those 3-3 before he moves out. Or he could just move out right now, because obviously these guys want to make sure that they absolutely stump me on all of my predictions, which they are very much doing in this game. This third base is just getting reestablished. I'm a little surprised the Terran isn't going for the third base, because he knows it's there, but he is going to be moving out. The Zerg doesn't have nearly enough to combat this, especially with the upgrades on those Marines and Marauders. He really needs Banelings or Infestors to deal with this kind of bioforce. We have an infestation pit down, but no pathogen glands just yet. That Baneling nest did just finish, so he is going to be able to make Banelings to stop this, but he has to start morphing them in now, which he hasn't yet. There are no Banelings out on the field, those are just Zerglings and Roaches. If this force comes in right now, it's going to do a ton of damage. You need to start morphing in some Banelings, dude. Where are your Banelings? Don't attack that army! What are you doing? You're going to lose a lot of guys, and he can just lift off even if he doesn't want to fight that. Oh. 3-3 bio, man. 3-3 bio with stim against 2-1 Roaches. You're going to get clobbered all day. You need Banelings to deal with this. You need to start morphing into Banelings soon, or else you are just not going to survive very much longer. Alright, he's just now morphing in Banelings, but the Terran has already kicked in the front door. He isn't rallying up more troops just yet, but he easily could be. We have more Hellions over here that are not harassing this. We have Roaches over here that are not really doing anything. We only have a few Banelings out, but without anything to buffer for them, if he sends them in just as they are just going to get killed. He is going to wait for another round of Roaches before he moves in. But he is going to lose that natural hatchery in the process, and he isn't mining from very much right now. He only has his main base. His third base is not that well saturated, and the Terran is going to be knocking on the front door of his main base very soon indeed. All right, we do have troops moving over here to take care of that third base. There are not enough defenses over there to deal with that. He does have some Baneling landmines deployed, but if these don't, oh, and he scanned them too. And that's all she wrote for that. The Terran's in the main base. The Banelings are all dead. We have nothing but Roaches being produced, and that's pretty much it. Okay. The one big mistake that the Terran made, or not the Terran, excuse me. The Terran actually played that pretty well. The one big mistake the Zerg made on this point is that he did not scout at all what the Terran was doing. If we even look at what the Zerg has on information-wise from the Terran base, he knows that that fourth base is there because his Overlord was able to see it, but he doesn't pretty much know anything about what he has following this up. He could be building Thors behind this, siege tanks behind this. All he knows really is just what the Terran's kind of shown him. If we go back to earlier in the game before he actually attacked, Alright, if we're at this point, the Zerg is completely in the dark about what the Terran's doing. Completely. He has no idea what the Terran's doing whatsoever. And the Terran, on the other hand, knows that the Zerg has taken this natural base. He knows that he's taken this natural base, and he is scouting, so he has seen that he's taken that third base. I mean, that's a lot of useful information. And the nice thing about playing Terran is that if he wants to know what he's teching to behind that wall, all he has to do is scan it. And it would have been so simple for the Zerg in this same situation, because he already had an Overlord here. He already had an Overlord here, or at least there was an Overlord there when I checked. He could easily send this Overlord into the main base just to scout out what he's doing. He would have seen these upgrades, he would have seen the barracks, he would have known that there were no siege tanks on the way. He could have swapped into just a lot of Banelings, and a lot of Banelings will just decimate early bioforces, especially in Platinum League, where you don't have the micro capacity to deal with mass bioforces, or to deal with mass Banelings, especially in this league. So scouting was the big mistake here. Taking this third base was risky, and he got burned for it. Hopefully he doesn't do that too often, because I don't know. There's so many things that can happen in Platinum League. You can get one based all in. You can get scouted with Hellions like he just did over there. So many unlucky things can happen. It would be a better idea for the Zerg player to just play standard, take this third base, or take the third base here where it's more easily defended. And if you're going to wall up like this, go for lair tech much sooner. Much sooner. He sat on hatchery tech for far too long, and he just let the Terran get way ahead of him. I mean, look at this. The Terran's already started +2/+2, and the lair isn't even done yet. That can happen. You have to be a little bit more mindful of what your opponent's doing as the reactionary player in this matchup. So that was a fun game, short and sweet. If you would like to see your replay cast, send it to me at ktvindicare@hotmail.com. I have a YouTube channel, Twitter, and I have a thread on Team Liquid that has all of my casts in it. So thanks a lot for watching, and see you next time.